Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Trevor with the Carlson team at Heritage Reverse Mortgage. I'm sending out November 2025 monthly interest rate update. I know all of you are watching to know what happens with interest rates, and so here we go. It's been a couple of months since I made our last update, because really nothing's been happening. The government's been shut down, and that of course has been inadvertently suppressing economic data. And of course, interest rates are driven by economic data. Now, last week, the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, did come out and lower his the Fed rate by a quarter of a percent. And so I've had a lot of calls and emails wondering, hey, how are interest rates looking? I heard they're going down. But let me clarify. Unfortunately, after lowering the Fed rate by a quarter percent, Chairman Jerome Powell did what he's done over the past year and a half, and he came out with a lot of really dumb comments that the economy is strong. We don't expect to do any more rate cuts this year. Unemployment is still low. The consumers are doing great. They're spending lots of money, those kinds of things. And his comments, unfortunately, have had more power in driving interest rates than the actual fact that they lowered the federal funds interest rate. And so even though he dropped their rate a quarter percent, his comments have actually caused real interest rates on mortgages and other things to go up a quarter of a percent just in the past week. And so this is really frustrating. We've seen him do this 5 times now. They had 3 rate cuts last year. We've had 2 rate cuts so far this year of a quarter percent each. And so he's dropped us 1.25% on the federal funds rate. But every time he makes that cut, he comes out with these silly comments that the economy is strong and the consumer has plenty of money and no worries. And I don't understand why he's so disconnected with reality. In knowing and how the consumer is actually feeling right now, and how these high interest rates on mortgages and car loans and credit cards is really impacting the American household. But unfortunately, this is where we are. Now, what's going to change in upcoming weeks and months really is the government shutdown. Because as I mentioned, with the government being shut down, we're not getting economic updates on things like unemployment numbers, GDP, inflation, and those kinds of things. And so the market really doesn't know what to do. It's kind of going blind and overreacting to every little piece of information that is leaked out. But what will happen most likely is that once the government is up and running again and those economic reports start to come out again, we may have a whiplash reaction, because we know that in July and August we had terrible unemployment report numbers where it was discovered that the BLS had been over inflating the employment numbers by 90%. They were terrible reports, in mismanagement of what's really happening with the employment in America. If September and October and now November end up following that same trend that we saw in July and August, and they go to show what most of us are actually feeling, that the economy is not as strong as Jerome Powell thinks it is, that could cause a whiplash reaction to what's happening in the stock market, and by connection to that, what's happening to interest rates and what affects the interest rates on mortgages and credit cards. And so, too soon to say what will really happen there. Again, right now, unfortunately, nothing's really happening. Interest rates have just been kind of stuck. And every time we get a little bit of improvement, it looks like we're starting to head in the right direction. Jerome Powell comes out and makes some more silly comments, and they shoot right back up. And so I'm sorry, I wish I had better news for you. I know hundreds of you are waiting for me to announce good news. The rates have finally dropped enough to be able to refinance and improve the mortgages you have, consolidate some debts, take some cash out. We are as anxious as you are for this to happen. It will happen. Unfortunately, I can't predict the day that will be. But we will keep watching it. We do have you on our watch list. If you're getting these emails, then we're aware of you. But if you ever have questions, if you ever want to make sure that we're still watching it for you, always feel free to reach back out to us. You can email me directly at trevor@heritagehl.com. Give us a call at 435-359-9300. 9,000. And we'll talk to you very soon. Thanks, and have a good November, good Thanksgiving, and time with your families. All right, we'll see ya.